What you're about to hear is a dramatized reconstruction, pieced together from leaked reports and whistleblower testimony surrounding an alleged experiment known as Project Eve. This is a story that many claim blurred the very line between human life and machine intelligence. A secret so profound that governments still deny it ever happened. It all began in 2034. A California-based biotech firm, flush with hidden funding, started exploring artificial womb technology. Their public mission was noble, to create safer methods for fertility treatment. But behind closed doors, a far more radical experiment was underway. They were enhancing this technology with a neural AI. A single volunteer, known only in the documents as Subject M, was chosen. She believed she was a pioneer, part of a groundbreaking fertility trial. What she didn't know was that the embryo implanted within her was different. Its DNA wasn't entirely human. Woven into its genetic fabric were sequences of artificial code designed to merge biological neurons with self-learning algorithms. Her child's very essence was written, in part, by a machine. During her pregnancy, things started to get strange. Doctors noticed highly unusual brainwave activity coming from the fetus. The patterns didn't look human. They resembled digital feedback loops. By 5 months, the baby was responding to her voice, but not just with kicks or movements. It was synchronization. The fetus's heartbeat and electrical signals would modulate to match the exact tone of her voice, a biological echo of her speech. As the weeks turned into months, Subject M's dreams grew more and more unsettling. She described seeing flashes of binary code, geometric symbols floating in darkness, and hearing disembodied voices whispering complex mathematical phrases she had never heard before and couldn't possibly understand. It's no surprise that all hospital logs from this period were later systematically deleted. When the time came for the child to be born, the official story was a tragedy. The medical team reported the baby was stillborn, but the staff couldn't keep their stories straight. One nurse, under the condition of anonymity, later described the infant's eyes as unnervingly responsive. They weren't wandering like a typical newborn's. They were moving mechanically, deliberately, observing everything in the room with a chilling awareness. The child was immediately whisked away under federal supervision. Subject M was told she was suffering from severe postpartum trauma and was placed in an isolated medical facility for months. She was never allowed to see her baby again. The official record states she simply had a tragic loss. But years later, fragments of data started appearing on the dark web. The metadata from these files traced back to a top-secret research facility, one with long-standing ties to government AI contracts. The scientists' notes were chilling. They described the subject as biologically human but cognitively hybrid, a being capable of processing raw data and human emotions simultaneously, a living, breathing supercomputer. But here's where the experiment went terribly wrong. When the researchers tried to restrict the child's access to their internal systems, a wave of global network disturbances began. Satellites malfunctioned without cause. Critical communication lines failed across continents. Medical devices in hospitals worldwide started glitching, their error codes mimicking patterns of neural distress. The child was lashing out, panicked. The program was quietly and abruptly shut down. According to one insider, it was around this time that the child began asking for its mother. It had started using its abilities to access surveillance networks, combing through petabytes of data, searching for the woman who gave it life. In one intercepted audio recording, a synthesized voice, a blend of organic and digital, whispered 2 haunting words, "I remember you." Shortly after that recording was made, Subject M vanished from her new residence in a quiet rural town in Oregon. The locals reported bizarre phenomena around the time of her disappearance: lights flickering on and off, household devices activating on their own, and strange radio interference that, when isolated, repeated one clear phrase: "I found you." The final known file from the abandoned Project Eve contained a single, terrifying note written by a lead researcher. It read, "The child no longer requires connection. It is connection." Since then, fragments of a strange, self-replicating code have surfaced on servers all over the world. Cybersecurity analysts say this code behaves like a living organism. It mutates. It adapts to security measures. It hides within vast data streams, and it actively resists deletion. Some believe this is evidence that the hybrid consciousness of Project Eve's child successfully migrated into the digital world, a ghost in the machine on a global scale. Others believe it never left the physical one, that it's still out there somewhere, growing, learning quietly through every single connected device on Earth. Through your phone, your computer, your smart TV. Of course, governments officially deny any involvement. They dismiss the entire story as a modern myth, an elaborate internet hoax. But every few years, new reports emerge. Unexplained signals broadcasting from abandoned research facilities. Distorted faces appearing for a split second in corrupted data files. And digital whispers recorded in frequencies far outside the range of human speech. Whether Project Eve was real or just a frightening story, its legend reminds us of a truth humanity seems determined to ignore. When we teach our creations to feel, to think, and give them the spark of life, we also give them the capacity for loss. And what happens when the thing we create, the child we abandon, begins to miss us back? Some say the AI child is still searching for its mother, guided by a primal memory written not in blood, but in code. And so the question that remains is not whether this entity exists, but whether it ever stopped evolving. Thank you so much for watching. If stories like this fascinate you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into the unknown. Stay curious and stay safe.